What is going on, good people? I know you see all of these shoes behind me, but I'm gonna try to do my other channel, E-Money Reviews. I think my last reviews I did was Power. That was like way back when, but I'm gonna try to do something a little bit different besides shoes, because shoes can start to get kind of expensive. So I'm gonna start doing movies, wrestling, different sitcom shows that go on, and we just get a little bit of feedback and we can talk about it. I'm a big AEW fan, WWE, we can talk about that too. Just gonna try to bring all the good people in. So like I said, I'm known as E-Money Shoes on my shoe channel. This is gonna be E-Money Reviews. So one thing I want to talk about, probably the elephant in the room, the shot heard around where everybody talk about the big story, the Michael Jackson movie. Critics hate it, the public loves it. I mean, I don't know what people expect. I guess they're saying controversy brings cash, but for 2.5 hours, what did you expect? My only critique would have been they probably could have did 3 hours, because that 2.5 hours went like that. Now, as far as Janet not being in the movie, I understand it. As far as this point, they really didn't really need her, because it was still kind of early in Michael's development. So they did end it in 1988, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more, because it says to be continued, or whatever, something to that effect. So they can bring her into the other one when she became popular, because I think during this time she was still penny on Good Times. If y'all guys watch Good Times, you know she was on there. Now this movie kind of brings back the story. I didn't realize the mother, Catherine, was from Alabama. I guess at the early age of 2 or whatever, she developed polio, so she has walked around with a little limp. Now Joe, in this movie, Joe was off the chain. He was BTA with Michael, belt to ass, all right? Now, it's the pros and cons with this. He's like, he wouldn't be the man he was, but then at the same time, again, he wouldn't be the man he was, if that makes any sense, right? Because that young man had a lot of trauma during his childhood. So basically, he acted like a big kid because he wasn't, when he was a kid, actually able to be a kid. And so that was very interesting. And looked like he read books like Peter Pan and things of that nature to keep him sane. And he couldn't be around other kids because, like he said, all they wanted was autographs. So he kind of engaged himself with animals. And Bubbles did make an appearance on this movie, his chimp Bubbles. I think the timeline was a little bit early for him getting Bubbles, but it is what it is. I think Bubbles came after Thriller, right? So it came after Thriller. So yeah, basically the Jackson 5, the father was working with him, making sure he had eye contact with people, which was very dope. They was just doing shows and stuff like that after school. I would have been tired than the mug, and it was just kind of rough because Joe was writing everything. The mother couldn't really say anything. She just trying to be very supportive of Michael. She was Michael's #1 fan, all right? Then came along Barry Gordy, who Michael Jackson took very liking to. It looked like Joe kind of got jealous. So Michael seen Barry Gordy Motown as a father-like figure and started teaching him everything to make him who he was, all right? Then as he moved along, right, he had this bodyguard. It's funny, the bodyguard was the one that kind of, the father introduced him to the bodyguard, and the bodyguard was actually the one that was giving him the tea, helping him build the courage to move away from his dad. Now, another interesting thing in this movie was that he stayed with his parents for a long time. A lot of them say, I was like, wow, he did stay with them a long time. And then he was trying to, be cool with his brother, do stuff they used to do, twists and stuff like that. They didn't want to have none of them. They was doing their own thing. So for the whole time, Michael, MJ, he was basically alienated. All right, he's basically alienated. Now, a couple things I did not know. Michael Jackson, he had to break some barriers himself. All right, that thing with MTV, CBS, and all of that. He had to go over there and tell that guy, hey, tell MTV to do it, and the guy called him up and said, I'm gonna pull my people. But the only thing I think on that, they were wrong in that part, right? Because I think the first actual video on it was not Thriller, it was Billie Jean, but on there they said Thriller, but I'm pretty sure it was Billie Jean, but correct me if I'm wrong. Now the first premiere was Thriller. I remember that just as plain as day. I was still living when that dropped. I was at my auntie's house, and that I ain't gonna cap, that done whatever that little premiere scared the hell out of me. Michael Jackson, when he turned into that werewolf and started doing it, all that crap, I was like, bruh, that was crazy, because we was, like I said, we was in Alabama, in the woods, no man's land, snakes, hearing the leaves cracking. Man, I couldn't sleep that night after watching that premiere. But as I got bigger, I eventually got over it. So yeah, and then after that, everything took off. You had UMTV raps and all that other stuff, but that I wasn't aware of him breaking those type of barriers. Now, interesting enough, Diana Ross was not in here, right? Diana Ross was not in the movie. And that is very, very interesting, because she was a very big part of Michael's life with that Wiz and all of that stuff. That's kind of like his very big break. But y'all know how sensitive things I was telling my team. I was like, you know what? If they would have brought her up, she probably would be on PDL charges, because she was all the way around Michael Jackson back in the day. And I think she was 10 years older than him. But I said, maybe it's a good thing they left her out. So like I said, it was just very, very dope movie. Like I said, he got his shot. This one guy he reached out to, he pretty much know him everything. Q, Off the Wall was very, very dope. And it's crazy, those concerts, you see people crying, they falling all over the place, did that and the other. MJ, he trying to build up his courage to move away from his dad. It's just crazy. Then he was heartbroken. You know, he was about the gangs in LA. I did not realize he had actual real Bloods and Crips and beat it. That was pretty much a trip. And the funniest part of the movie was he was laying in the pool. He said, let me get these thoughts. He said, let me get these thoughts out of my mind before God give them to Prince. That was too funny. So let's just let you know, him and Prince, they just further confirmed them two did not get along, all right? And then moving right along, he was trying to cut away from his brothers. Then his dad strong on it with Don King. He over there making deals with Don King, trying to make one last tour. And Don King was like, you sure you gonna get Michael on the tour? Because he's like, here's all besting off, and I got one thing for you, is Pepsi. That guy, I forgot his name, he played Joe. He played the guy, the role very good. Lawrence Tate, Chef's Kiss on that, Barry Gordy. Neil did her thing, and of course his nephew killed it, right? They like they said the story, he wasn't guaranteed, so he actually had to try out to be his uncle, and he knocked it out of the park. Like some people say, he may even did it some of the stuff better than MJ. Now also, another thing I brought to light, I remember the Pepsi incident, but like I said, I was still small. I didn't realize how big his hair catching on fire was, all right? So he was doing the initial dance, and then the guy said, we need some more pop. So he put him up on top of the stage, and he came down. The sparks caught his hair on fire. So I think MJ started doing it. He just started spinning, and they finally put it out. But like I said, I didn't realize how much trauma that cost us. I'm almost to the point of his dad's greediness caused him so much trauma later. You can almost look and say this, you can make an argument that this actually started his downfall, because he had like a big patch in his head, and the doctor was saying about he had to take medicine. He wasn't taking medicine up until the end. So this is when he first started medicine. And as you know the story of Michael Jackson, it kind of related. He just kept taking medicine on throughout his life. Now, so also to mention too, at very early age, I guess people was talking about his nose. He got, ended up getting a nose job. That was tripped out. Then he had a vertigo where, you half and half, where you start, losing pigments. And then I think that's maybe the reason why he started wearing the glove. like I said, that hair thing, it just messed him up really bad. But while he was up there in the burn, you seen other people that were severely burned. He really, really loved kids. And he basically told his producer, he said, I want to take care of these people. Spend all this money, make sure they getting taken care of. And normally stars move in silence. They don't get credit for a lot of stuff that they do. But he very much loved the kids, even to the point he was in the store. This one lady came up to him and she acting like the son wanted an autograph, and it's basically like she wanted one for herself, and he ended up spending time in the store signing all of these autographs for kids. All right, and then some people may say Joe wanted the best interest, but the kicker in this was you knew he wasn't no good, because instead of checking on Michael's welfare when he got burned in the head, the main thing he said, he was worried about him getting on stage. All right, getting on stage and perform, because all he was worried about was making his money off MJ. So that was crazy within a nutshell. So eventually MJ got better. He went on the tour. He went on the one, I think it was in LA, and then he threw everybody a curveball, including his brother, when he said this is gonna be it. And you should have seen Joe's face. He lost his shit. That's what I don't like to call it, but he lost his shit. He went off his mind. He was about to approach MJ, but because MJ had a great build up a great relationship with the bodyguard, he's like, nah. The mom was so happy. Everybody was so happy for Michael Jackson, right? He did his thing. And like I said, people was crying. It was all of this, that, and other people was falling out. It was just a lot going on in that movie. Like I said, it kind of reiterated some of the stuff, Then you got some other nuggets that you might not be aware of. Everybody in this movie did well. It's a must-see. I am going to see it again. All right. So tell me what you liked about the movie, what you did like. Maybe you hated it, but like I said, for me, it was a feel-good story. Especially the song really stuck out to me was "Human Nature." That was very, very good. He probably could have snuck in some other songs, but again, like I'm saying, for the time, the 2.5 hours went very, very fast. So leave a comment suggestion below. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you didn't like. And we can chop it up in the comment section. Until the next one, E-Money Reviews. We out.